Okay, hi guys, welcome to the session. We have three very wonderful people with us here today. First we have Aryan Kulkarni, the GOAT. We have Nitya and Ashwin with him. They are all students at IIIT Hyderabad, and for your information, they are all UGEE AIR 6. So big kudos. Very happy to have you guys here. I'm Sanvi. I'm in IIT Bombay right now. Doing industrial engineering and operations research. ठीक है, we will start the session. All right, सबसे पहले तो एक ब्रीफ डिस्क्रिप्शन यूजी का ही दे दो तुम लोग के साइड से कि व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट सेक्शंस इन द पेपर एंड लाइक क्या जनरल पैटर्न होता है ऑफ द पेपर.
Okay, so UGEE, undergraduate entrance exam. It's one of the methods that you can get into IIIT Hyderabad. The paper is of 3 hours. There are two sections in the paper. One is the SUPR, which is subject proficiency test, and one is REAP, which is research aptitude test. Subject proficiency test is of 60 minutes, 1 hour. It has, I think, 50 questions for 60 minutes, and it asks questions about maths, physics, and chemistry. The pattern is very similar to something as CET or BITSAT. Then you have research aptitude test, where they give you some scientific problem or they put you in some situation, and you have to apply your knowledge from PCM and then answer the question. It's not necessary that REAP has only multiple choice questions. I think that there were fill in the blanks as well. But
Right.
SUPR just had MCQs. SUPR is generally easier than JEE mains, but then you also need to have a good accuracy with speed. So the pattern is similar to C. There is negative marking. There is 25% negative marking. So I think you get say one for correct and then minus 0.25 for wrong answers.
Yeah, like negative penalty is still like 1/4 of like whatever the pattern is followed for JM. Okay. Then the second thing I think that was the most common question was resources for UG because they don't release the paper officially. So till you get there, you don't really know what kind of questions to expect. Before Aryan answers it, one input from my side about this was like about the paper pattern as a whole. The timing is very strict, and I think you can pre-submit, right? If you're done with Super Pele, you can submit it earlier and take more time for it or something like that. So
No, no.
जनरली दोनों के कट ऑफ्स भी अलग अलग निकलते हैं. You need to
Hmm.
clear the cutoffs for both sections separately. So if you are done with one part and you submit early, I think that is preferable because मैंने जितने भी लोग का जाना है कि कट ऑफ लाइक वट एवर फ्यू मार्क्स से छूटा था उनका रीप में ही हुआ था कि लाइक मेरा भी लाइक 2-3 मार्क्स से उसमें ही छूटा था. तो इफ यू कैन सबमिट अर्ली देन आई थिंक यू शुड डू दैट एंड फोकस मोर ऑन रीप. Now back to the original question, just like if you can discuss some resources that you would recommend to for UG.
Okay, to correct you, you can submit your super paper early, but
Hmm.
that does not grant you extra time in REAP. REAP
Oh, it
paper is
doesn't?
still up to us.
Okay, okay, okay. All right. My bad for that then.
Yeah.
Thanks.
As for the resources, there are few memory-based PYQs online. I think we referred to only like one or two papers at max just to get the feel of the paper. There are no resources. I think Mathango has started a series and test series on UG and Manan Devpurkar bought that the Mathango
Okay,
ka
okay,
test series. But he said that it's not that useful as well.
okay.
UG as a whole checks your application of your PCM knowledge more than the PCM knowledge as
Itself,
it is.
right.
So there is no preparation as such that you can do in UG except for whatever you're doing for say JEE or CET. Even in super paper they ask, yeah, the syllabus is as same as JEE. So till 12th standard, whatever NCRT, HSC that you're using.
Superior. For
For super.
Yeah.
REAP is a different ball game. Like they do ask PCM questions, but they
They test your understanding more than the subject itself. So how you apply the concepts.
or
Yeah,
how
yeah.
you see?
For example, I remember this question from my from our triple IT wala UG paper. They had some cooler kept in a room, and we
Yeah,
had
that's
to
a really good
guess
question.
ki, yeah, which direction se what kind of thermodynamic process it would represent if you have like one like some the input side to turn towards the window or the door or something. So um आई थिंक ही इज राइट अबाउट द फैक्ट दैट कोई रिसोर्सेज एज सच नहीं है बट अगर तुम्हें लाइक टेस्ट करना लाइक अगर तुम्हें स्ट्रॉन्ग बेसिस बिल्ड करना है तो फ्रॉम व्हाट आई रिमेंबर वी हैड अ लॉट ऑफ थर्मो का एप्लीकेशन आई थिंक देयर मल्टीपल क्वेश्चंस ऑन थर्मो लाइक जो भी ऐसी चीजें हैं जिनका रियल लाइफ एप्लीकेशन बन सकता है उसका तुम जितना अंडरस्टैंडिंग डेवलप करोगे उतना अच्छा रहेगा लाइक दैट इज देयर एंड आई थिंक कैलकुलेटर भी रहता है इसमें इन द पेपर गिव मी वन सेकंड आई थिंक
Calculator is given in the
you can
huh?
elaborate more I'll be right back.
Calculator is given in the question paper itself. Like the portal itself gives you a calculator. I don't think you get enough time to use a calculator, especially in super, because it's like 1 minute per question.
And the computer screen is really not very user friendly. So it's going to be
Yeah.
Triple IT prep module. Okay, I've seen that and I did only the linguistics part of it. At least for what I've done, it seemed okay. As in, good for practice, but I wouldn't recommend you spending a lot of time on it. I think it's better if you build your understanding on the subjects you're studying instead, and probably practice a few questions from it. That's
Oh, okay, and little bit about triple IT as a whole. In dual degree, you have I think 5 or 6 subjects. One is CSD, which is computer science dual degree. The CLD, which is computer science and linguistics. The CND, which is computer science with natural sciences. Natural sciences include physics, chemistry, biology. There is CHD with human sciences, and there's CGD with geospatial. Is it
geospatial,
geospatial.
and informatics or something.
geospatial and informatics. So you'll see questions from these categories as well. You'll see questions on linguistics. You'll see questions on natural sciences. So a biology question was also there in REAP. These questions would be especially seen in REAP.
I remember linguistic का question. They would say like they would introduce some sort of language and उसके words and they would tell you to predict कि like if this sentence was in this language then ये कैसे होता है like some sort of thing like that. But वही I think it's a very you don't see those questions like that again. That's why I remember them very specifically because
हाँ
that's like you see them only there. So it's overall I think it's a very nice exam to give like as per experience as well. Was there any specific strategy that you used to attempt super and reap? Like maybe जैसे अपन जेई में करते हैं कि you skip certain questions if you don't know them immediately. So anything that you would recommend following as a strategy, or well, a few strategies. I think each of you can give it a go. Ki, that you would recommend to go about.
One thing about the REAP paper in particular was the linguistic side. I think the paper that we gave, the linguistic side was the easiest part of the paper. It was just basic pattern matching, like really basic pattern matching. But the year before that was really difficult. No, like the year before that, it was really quite difficult. So you just have, I recommend that you skim the linguistic section once to see what the difficulty of the questions are. Don't leave that to the end so that you know which one to attempt first. Other than that, for REAP, just go through it in order because the questions are really diverse, right? Like what discussed so far. Some questions is just basic applying math, and some questions you really have to connect across ideas. Like the question that you mentioned, or the question about, I think there was one on pressure cooker on Mars, which I
हाँ
wrote
हाँ
quite
Yeah,
हाँ
yeah,
really.
I know, yeah.
So REAP, I think, just go through it in order and just generally have fun. Like there'll be some interesting questions, so you just have fun. For super, what worked for me is I skipped every single chemistry question. I just did physics and maths. So, and that ended up working. So, just whichever subject you're strong in, try to be strong in PNC. That is the most important thing, I think, for super and REAP.
Yeah, right. PNC is a very important part. PNC and I think probability ki also 2 3 questions. Like that's sort of there. Whenever there's an application involved, they ask for PNC and probability.
Hmm.
Aryan, your side, anything?
It's super. This year the cutoff for super was very less. I guess it was
12.5.
12.5 out of 40,
Yeah,
right?
12.5 out of 40.
12.5 out of 40.
13.5 or 12.5 something.
you're somewhere there below 15.
So keeping accuracy is at most important. Like it's okay. I think I don't know if it was this year's only or it has been a pattern or not.
No, 2 years in a row.
2 years
2
in
years
a
in a
row.
row, it's been low only. Below
Huh.
15.
So keeping accuracy is more important than solving all the questions. It's okay if you solve if you didn't solve all 50 questions, but then having highest accuracy while solving this is crucial.
Don't waste time on lengthy questions because it's
Huh.
not worth it. The cutoff is not very high for you to spend time on questions.
And it is
And
unclear whether they use your super and reap scores to rank you after the interview. So we see it as just to pass this exam to get to the interview round.
Right, yeah. There are people here with
okay,
amazing REAP scores, I think what above 80s, whose ranks weren't as high as people's who
Huh.
just passed the REAP
Yeah.
cutoff. So
okay, done. Nitya, anything about strategies for how to attempt or whatever?
Well, not really. I think you should just okay, as I said, for super, don't waste time.
it was
You don't have to
40
score
plus.
very high. All you need to do is to pass the cutoff because interview is more crucial for getting into the college, for
Right.
what we understand. And then REAP, I haven't particularly prepared for REAP at all because you don't have to do anything much. But then again, I just looked at the questions a day before the exam, probably.
Upper moment, upper moment.
Most of the people who are here haven't really prepared much for UG.
I think preparing
Yeah,
for
that
days is
ends up
better.
happening. I think like there are very few people who keep it as a target कि ठीक है, you like triple IT पहले करना है, first preference or whatever. So I think
हाँ.
that's there. And the lack of resources also. So there are like two questions. One was वही कि REAP में कितने questions होते हैं? I think 50 only? नहीं ज्यादा होते हैं.
40
कितना
plus,
REAP में कितने होते हैं? यार ये सब
Reap
तुम लोग
में
ऑनलाइन पूछा करो यार, मतलब you can ask this to Gemini or something, मतलब ठीक है,
हाँ. And
whatever.
as far as I know, the Reap questions, the count of Reap questions changes every year. It's not fixed.
Also, super doesn't have a section wise like math section, chemistry section.
It's mixed.
It's
Mixed
mixed.
questions. Yeah, I remember that.
I
Yeah, mixed
don't
questions
think
होते हैं.
the number of questions distribution is also equal or anything. It changes for what I know every year.
Yeah.
Overall, I think because triple IT का Hyderabad का ही exam है, they have a lot of control over it and they really like by the fact that they don't even release the PYQs, you should know that they want it to be as spontaneous as possible.
Yes.
तो for any sort of exam जिसके लिए तुम्हें पहले पता नहीं होता है ना क्या format है या फिर क्या expect करने वाला है, it's always very smart to like gauge the paper in the first 5 minutes. Like maybe don't go through all of the questions, but look at the first 10-15 questions. Look at the sort of pattern they have. Like जैसे Ashwin was saying कि difficulty gauge करो किसी भी section का. वैसे I think overall paper का भी एक like there's a mood to every paper, there's a vibe to every paper. So whatever you open, let's say you open the super section also, थोड़े 10-15 questions देखो, you'll get an idea of what to expect. ऐसा नहीं कि तुम लोग, and again these are very like they're very nice questions. Like I think in the middle of the paper also I stopped at a question. I'm like, this is so beautiful. मतलब I was just looking at कि भाई ये भी कोई question करके पूछ सकता है. तो don't get too lost in the paper. That's one thing. कि you keep a sort of track कि कितना cover करना है paper and don't. And the second, I think shortcoming rather is that whenever you have these sort of questions now and the answer is sort of a statement कि isobaric process है, ये ऐसा process है, ये वो process है, तो you try to reason and you try to तुक्का कि मतलब ठीक है कुछ मैच ही करना है ना, because you don't really have to solve anything. And for someone who's giving JEE, उनके दिमाग में वो like -0.25 उनके दिमाग में वो अपने को बैठता नहीं है कि it's actually still 1/4, it's same as the weighted. तो ठीक है यार तू सही तो जाएगा मतलब. तो I think don't take that very lightly. वो तुम गेस तुक्का मारने के इसमें मत जाओ. Try to have some sort of basis for whatever you're answering. Like I'm not as smart as these people are कि सब कुछ ऐसे PYQs बिना देखे एकदम crazy rank types. But I try to stem my guess work also from some sort of scientific basis कि उसके basis पे आ रहा है, फिर किसी solid चीज से आना चाहिए वो guess, फिर ही वो valid है, वरना तुक्के मत मार. Like you can generally miss out on the interviews because of 1 or 2 marks. So yeah, okay.
I hope you guys do know that UG is just for the dual degree courses. If you want to opt into dual degree courses, you give UG for that. If you want a 4-year course like BTech, there's only two options that you can realistically have. One is the JEE mains, and the other is DASA. DASA is like if you're a
NRI.
NRI, huh? If you have passport of or like birth of other country, then you can apply through that using a SAT score.
Can you just brief a little bit about how high the mains cutoff goes and मतलब कौन सी degree उससे मिलती है like in BTech?
This year the cutoff has been very high. I think that was because the timings of the form was, I think, a little misplaced. The cutoff for CAC was around 3,000, I guess. Rank
Okay.
3, yeah, 99.93. Was it for CAC? I don't think so. It was much less than 99.93.
Okay. Good.
And for EC it is around 4,000.
No, EC was about 7K. It went to 7K.
7K.
Yeah.
That went to
Yeah.
7K. Yeah.
Okay. So मतलब anyone studying
Otherwise,
some sort of
Deshmukh, our
NIT, then
friends are also here, by the way.
these are our friends there, guys. Okay. Anything else about the exam, or can we move on to the interview sort of things? Anyone who wants to ask anything about the exam specifics? एक क्वेश्चन था आई थिंक जिसकी उसने पूछा था कि एज अ जेई एस्पिरेंट तुम नॉर्मल जेई एस्पिरेंट हाउ डू यू प्रिपेयर टू टैकल ऐसे क्वेश्चंस गैंग वही है मतलब that's what this paper is trying to test whether you know beyond your JEE question solving and whether you
All
can
you need to do
actually
is
apply concepts.
understand. All you need to do is understand the concepts which you're studying for JEE. मतलब ऐसे फॉर्मूला तुक्का मत बट्टी मत करो रट्टा मत मारो understand the derivation understand why it is happening how is it happening I think they test more of that knowledge than your uh, I don't know memory of formulas.
Yeah. Like how much from the real world scenario they've given can you coherently relate to your formula based like not even your derivation तो probably you'll feel कि अभी कहाँ करे इतने सारे derivation but why you have to sort of be able to relate to it. I think you guys have a boon man. You guys have so much AI and stuff. You can just genuinely give a good prompt and get good like whatever sample questions or whatever.
That is true. Your Gemini guys use it.
और रियल मैन हमारे टाइम पे थोड़ी था ये सब भाई. कोई एक चैट जीपीटी था बस उस पे भी जाके रोते थे मार्क्स नहीं.
हाँ.
Anyways, okay, all right. We will move on to the interview part. So I don't know anything about the interview. So if you guys, I think interview experience must have been different for each of you. So if you can start with whatever it was like for each of you and क्या questions पूछे if you remember them and एक rough format structure and तुमने prepare कैसे किया ये सब मतलब start from maybe how you prepared for it and then we'll go to actual interview में क्या हुआ.
Do you?
Ashwin first.
Uh,
Oh,
sure.
Nitya first. All right.
Okay,
Ladies
Nitya
first.
first.
Sure.
I did not prepare specifically for interview. Matlab, I did Google a few questions. You do find a few, like probably one or two questions on Google. And I tried finding the answers for those. And then I tried to understand. They might ask something about college or something. But to be frank, none of that knowledge helped me in the interview because they asked some very different questions, which are actually very interesting. But then they did not expect right answer from you. They tried to understand more of how you approach a problem.
Okay. Can you give an example about what questions they asked you, like a couple of them?
Oh, so they asked me two questions. One was direct probability. So I recommend all of you to be thorough with PNC and probability क्योंकि एक क्वेश्चन तो उनसे आएगा पक्का. फिर दूसरा क्वेश्चन was something like there's this year 2050 and then there's some company advocating for driverless cars but then there are a few people against it there are a few people for it in India. So I had to give reasoning as to why it is for and why against.
Okay.
So yeah, you're supposed to see both the sides of the issue basically.
How long was your interview for? Like
Uh,
time duration?
I think 20 minutes.
20 minutes max.
Yeah.
So interview does not last very long because then they have to interview so many people in a short frame of
Right,
time.
right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Mine was 8 minutes.
Mine was
Damn.
10 to 12
They knew
minutes.
right away that you were the one for them. Yeah, okay, Ashwin, share your interview experience.
Um, Me?
Hmm.
Okay. They asked me two questions. I think they asked everyone two questions.
Yeah, yeah.
First one was a very basic question about how you can like split chocolate into some number of ways. Like just straightforward math, you can just work it out on. The second question was slightly more interesting. It was like if you can see every gas molecule individually, how would you perceive temperature differently for a dense gas and a less dense gas, as opposed to if
Oh,
you don't have this power? So that was very interesting. Um, and mine was slightly more technical. Like other people had less technical, less subject related questions as well. So it's very different. I would recommend though, like at the beginning when they ask you who are you, or at least some introduction, you tell what your interest is, where you're coming from, or like anything what you have done. Because what I've seen is for a lot of people, they've asked questions directly to related to either where they came from or what their interest was. Like I told them that I'm just interested in physics, and the question was about physics. So I highly recommend you do that. Like whichever subject you're really interested in, you tell about that. And for answering it, someone asked the speed of answering play a role. I think more than that, you should just reason out whatever it is you're thinking, right? Instead of just thinking it and then giving up a polished answer, just go through it step by step, saying, okay, I'm thinking of this. This is one possible approach. Let's explore that approach. So even if your answer is wrong, they generally look at the approach and see, like, okay, you're able to connect the dots well. So that's what they do.
Also, the interviews, you have a panel of, I think, three professors.
Hmm.
They're very friendly. They're there to guide you, they're there to help you. If you're stuck at a question, they usually provide a hint, or they ask you to ask for a hint.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
okay.
All they want to see is your thinking approach, your thinking level. How are you approaching the problem? If you find, are you finding your own mistakes, basically? So I remember one of the questions they asked me was if you want to, like, how would you democratize social media? The problem statement was that you see on social media, there are only select number of accounts which get promoted or which get highlighted because they put out so much content on the platform. So
Right.
how would you make a system, or how would you model a system such that each and every account is equally shown up in everyone's feed?
That's quite interesting, honestly.
Yeah, so first two questions were like basic maths question, calculus, where you have to find a derivative and this thing. And this was a follow-up question. S-
That is
So,
genuinely nice.
so I gave them an answer, and the next question they asked me was, do you find any flaw in this model that we have proposed? So then I have to think about, oh, what flaws
Yeah, review
when I
your own
have.
answer again. That's a good thing.
Huh.
Quite nice, quite nice. Um, how do interviewers assess the subjective section? Oh, do you have an application form also? I need to fill out
Yeah,
or something like that.
we had an application form with like a two essays or
Essay or
something.
This
something.
guy is asking whether if you know how they are assessed. I don't think they reveal that.
We
Uh,
have no clue.
They did not
but
ask
that's
anything
highly sort
related to
of
the essays we wrote.
And I don't think you should stress too much about that because, as far as I'm aware, like even there was an article in Ping magazine about how UGE works. They did like the Ping magazine here interviewed a bunch of profs, and I don't think they mentioned anything about the subjective section mattering. It was pretty much the interview that determines whether you get in or not, as far as
Mhm.
I'm aware.
yeah.
Right.
Um,
Interview comes a lot later though. Like you have exam, then after a month or so you'll get your results, and after that you'll still have a month of time to prepare. Our interview was on 4th of June, I remember.
oh yeah, that's quite late.
Huh.
I think I remember because we were talking about it and
Yep.
okay. Yeah.
So like you can ask about interview questions, that's fun, but then it's
Yeah,
not
you guys can you
really
can connect to any of
relevant right
them
now.
later as well.
Huh.
It's not a problem. Uh,
You have different subject backgrounds. Yes, usually. Now, at that point of time, we didn't know, but like I remember some of the professors who took my interview, and they were from different departments. Yes.
Baki, I think one few common misconceptions, at least misconceptions I call them because Aryan has changed my mind about them. Uh, okay, wait 1 second.
Huh. Choose your words wisely, Sanvi.
I didn't complete my sentence.
हाँ.
I will complete it later though. Hmm. Okay, I'll give my opinion on it, then they can give their scholarly opinion on it. Uh, First, see, I think this is a big question that I've been getting very frequently. I tried to do a video on it. Um, I got too lazy at the editing part. Anyways, so is it worth it to prepare for UG? Like we discussed, there's not much to prepare for, right? So ideally, you should go and give the exam. It's a very nice exam experience, and I think it will open your mind as to a lot of like you'll really appreciate two exams. I think you'll really appreciate UG and JEE Advanced. They're two exams that everybody should give who's preparing PCM because they open your mind like nothing else. मतलब तुम अभी 25 का मॉक दोगे ना फिजिक्स का पेपर 2 का आई विल मतलब प्यार हो जाता है पता है ऐसे मतलब पेपर आई थिंक आई वाज जस्ट सिटिंग एंड आई वाज लाइक wow, like this is advanced mode on, like I was sort of there. So give the paper. uh as for focus more on paper, see the thing is ki um UG is for triple IT Hyderabad. BITSAT gets you 3 college options. That's BITS Hyderabad, BITS Pilani, BITS Goa. CET gets you probably 100 college options. So it depends on what you believe your own skill set is. Like if you really think and interest also. Like he said, ki dual degree is the thing. And but if you want that sort of study, then you should prepare for it. Then तुम्हारी उतनी understanding है क्या real world application की that you can rely forcefully on UG. बाकी तो आई थिंक वेबसाइट सीटी देनी ही है लाइक वो इट इज देयर ओनली. तो यूजी के लिए इतना ज्यादा प्रेप टाइम देने की जरूरत नहीं है. पेपर दे के आ जाओ एंड ऑब्वियसली बिटसैट सीटी में यू देनी ही है वो. प्लस तुम्हारे पास बिटसैट सीटी के 2 अटेम्प्ट है तो यू कैन मेस इट अप वंस एंड प्रॉब्ली इम्प्रूव लेटर ऑल्सो. तो डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट पार्ट कि दे के आओ बस पेपर बाकी तो हो जाएगा.
Even I
एंड
would suggest that where you may have a primary paper and a primary goal, but even then you should give all the papers because why not? You get to give those papers only once, एक तो, and then you
Only
should have
once
plan
again.
B, plan C, plan D as well.
yeah, that's it. Oh, he's asking what degree you guys have opted for.
All
Like,
of
what
us
is your
CS.
dual degree?
Since we are all rank 6, we are all in CSD, computer science and
Computer science dual degree.
dual degree, huh?
नहीं नहीं बट अज्यूम नहीं करना चाहिए. आई थिंक वी
हाँ
हैव few
सही बात.
examples who have people who give up CS, so
Yep.
that's still there. uh Dual degree program, it's plus and minus from a student perspective. What do you think?
For first year students, I don't think we have much of
Can
an
you be
idea.
slightly louder? I can't hear you.
Oh. For first year students, like I mean, we're still in first year, right? So we don't have much of an idea, like a proper idea, because we haven't gone to the research part yet. Uh, yeah.
The research part hasn't hit us yet for us to tell you how good or bad it is. From what we
I've
have
heard
heard
it
from
hits like a truck.
seniors, from what we have heard from seniors, it's hectic. It can get bad, to put it lightly, yeah. But again, we can't be we are not the right people right now to give information about that. इंट्रोडक्शन में क्या
uh,
क्या चीजें मेंशन करनी चाहिए,
One
हाँ.
thing though, if you have a choice between a single 4-year degree and a dual degree, I think it's better to choose a single degree because you have the option of doing research, choosing research if you want in your third year. Like single people can do honors, which is basically a research project.
Hmm.
And if I'm not wrong, I don't know if it's still there, so don't quote me on this, but you can also convert your single degree to a dual degree at third year. It's not going to make much difference for you. So if you have the option between a single degree and a dual degree, unless you're 100% sure you're going to research, I
Hmm.
would say 4-year degree is a bit safer
oh
choice.
yeah, that is also an option at IIT. You can like you join for bachelor's if you want. You can
Hmm.
convert to a master's, and also you can convert to master's in like if you're doing a bachelor's in say electrical or something, and you want to do a master's in CS, you can do that. It's an option. Like you don't have to do the master's in your particular branch only. So that's all. Like you, if you're risky about 5-year degree, you can always go for a 4-year degree and then convert it later. Before we go to